shouting, full of fire and smoke, preaching about the world like it's some kind of joke. Says he loves peace, but his tongue cuts deep, keeps folks awake when they trying to sleep. 1 second smiling, next he's throwing flames, talking so wild they forgot his name. He got the mind-stained blues, Lord, can't you see? Every word he speaks, feel misery. Folks don't argue, they just refuse. They walk away from that mind-stained blues. He got the mind-stained blues, oh yes, it's true. Every time he talks, something foul comes through. Got a mouth full of facts that don't hold no weight. Spits like he's wise, but he's preaching hate. Claims he's a healer, claims he's woke, but his love's just a cruel man's joke. Joy to rage like a rattlesnake strike, talking about peace while he picks a fight. He got the mind-stained blues, can't wash it off. Every word he spilled just makes folks scoff. Folks don't listen, they pay no dues. They done tuned out them mind-stained blues. Yeah, he got the mind-stained blues and it sticks like glue. The more he talks, the less sounds true. Mirror full of lies, dressed up like grace, painted smile on a weathered face. But you scratch that mask and what you find is thorns in a crown and a crooked mind. Talks about sinners, but he sins the same. Blame in the fire, but he feeds the flame. Every word's a trap, every smile's a blade, and folks walk off when the dues get paid. Ain't no reasoning, ain't no peace, just a river of noise that never ceases. He got the mind-stained blues soaked down deep. Ain't no prayer gonna help him sleep. Folks just sigh, they've had their cues. Ain't no fixing that mind-stained blues. Yeah, he got the mind-stained blues, and we all knew that every word he speaks just turns the sky untrue. Yeah, it's like bad now. So if you see him coming, don't catch his eye, or you'll wear them stains till the day you die.
Oh man, here we go again, we're going to create change. Make it happen this time, let's go, always good vibes. Get out of the open, I can feel it, it's going to be a good day, a great day. Let's go, always good vibes. Create change, let's go, always good vibes. Change, let's go, always good vibes.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to GuyNShine. We appreciate y'all being here. Touching on today, Mr. Charlie Kirk's accused killer, accused assassinator. Pretty much, in my personal opinion, this man has already sealed his fate with his text messages afterwards to his trans lover. You know, but we're going to touch on that. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see how everybody else is feeling on it. I'm glad that we're at least going to get to see him held accountable. It's not a suicide by cop or a suicide, already, whatever, already took himself out or whatever. So, I'm glad that we're going to at least be able to, for the Kirk family and others, be able to hold this man at least in the court of law and make him stand for, the things that he did. And I like to always just make it clear, this is our opinions, and we're not coming at this like this man is this or that or guilty or innocent. We're going by what we see, what we've been able to obviously find out, and the things that are available for us to be able to see. But we're also just talking about the mankind reaction behind it, the real life. For me, that's been the hardest part, John, is seeing these people jeer and cheer another human being's death, no matter what side. I that's been sickening for me.
Yeah, and you know man, there. I'm not even going to say his name, but he's a big artist. You know what I mean in the scene, music scene. Excuse me. And it was right before we came on here. They were just showing this clip on repeat of this guy in front of like 50,000 people just screaming, and I won't even. Yeah, I couldn't believe it, and I think like these people like. There are rules on the books for this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like you're inciting hate is what you're doing. Like that's what you're doing.
This is how I see it. Now, the best speech that we can allow is the most heinous and most horrible. But there's a line to be drawn if you're going to try to incite violence or things like that. Now, what that man said was heinous, but in order for, at least in the United States, for that to be considered anything, then there has to be a call to action behind it. There has to be, hey, let's go get him. Let's go kill this person. Now, as a person that advocates for the First Amendment, then I understand that there's going to be sides in which that I don't agree with. But these people, it comes to a moral standard. Yeah, you have the right. I got to give you the right to go on here and say that it was a great thing that this man died. Blah, blah, blah. Yep, you're right. I have to, because of free speech. I have to say, okay, I can condone it. But what I also have to say is you have the right to free speech, but that doesn't mean that you have the right to no consequences for your speech. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not saying you can't say what you want, but in the court of public opinion, you're putting yourself out there in a pretty bad way that's going to stick forever.
That's one thing that's one thing that I'm proud about in Canada right now, is that a lot of the people that have gone ahead, and I mean, like they went further than just saying I'm happy that he's dead. You know what I mean? Like they made hit lists, right? This one individual in particular, and they're making an example out of her right now in British Columbia, who was a social worker of all things, and like one of the head people for the social work department for BC. And the video she made was just disgusting. And then on top of it, she released a to take out list next, right? And like that's where, okay, now you've gone way too far. You've gone way too far once that starts happening. And now, she's lost her job. And then like the craziest part about it is then with follow-up video was, I think a person with a conscience would be like, hey, I stepped over the line or something, maybe that, but no, of course not, accept no responsibility for what you said. And then blame everybody for getting you fired. No one got you fired. You did this all by yourself. All by yourself. And good luck getting a job anywhere else. I'll tell you that.
And that's the thing is like, just because like here in the US, just because your speech is protected as a constitutional right, that doesn't mean that you're protected from the consequences of your free speech in an employer's eyes or in the public's eyes or in, man, yourself out. Like I said very clearly on here, you let me come on and let me see one of my kids on here making fun of something like that. Like they wouldn't need anybody else to come down. I yoke them up so fast it'd make their heads spin because I just don't condone that. And I think that there too in lies one of the biggest problems is that the babysitter has become this telephone, and that babysitter talks a lot of nonsense. And that babysitter says a lot of stuff that you wouldn't if you were hiring a young babysitter to come and sit with your child, you would put them through a lot more rigorous process of understanding what they're about than what you do to hand them that damn phone.
I certainly hope
that is that's scary when you're willing to just hand them the phone. Okay, well, go ahead, go play. Hey man, that phone shares with them anything that little kid, you know what I mean? And it's not not a good babysitter, I guess is what I'm saying. And the proof's in the pudding, guys. We're seeing a group of young people and older, but mostly young people that, man, they don't have the same human connection as what we do. Like human life to them doesn't mean the same in some ways, it seems. They've been desensitized or brainwashed or something into
I don't
thinking
know.
that someone that has a voice that of dissent that maybe doesn't agree 100% with that, you're to hate that person now. You're to want them gone, from cast away from your life, and that's just not no way. That doesn't work.
And it's blind hatred, which is the scariest part about it. It's like these groups are organized enough just to be dangerous and reckless. Like that's what I keep seeing over and over and over again. It's like there's been no repercussions for some time now. Then you feed that with, I don't know, some kind of ideology, and then you get them all together, and then you just see this screaming thing, and people are trying to do their, well, how do we get past that? How do we get past this wall of just insanity? And it's like you said, I mean, I think it's just been too little oversight for too long on a lot of people's part, and then feeding that with just lies, basically. I mean, it's hard for me to tell sometime what's true and what's not true on.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean,
You know.
like, yeah, ditto, me too. Like, there's times where it's like, man, like, dang, if I hadn't looked into this, I could have really jumped to conclusions. You know what I'm saying? Like, this really looked real. This looked legit. And you know, the thing is like I watched the, like, yesterday. Hey, man, I listened to the evidence that they were sharing with everybody, and they shared the fact that he had texted his lover, buddy, whatever. He had texted him after the incident, was talking about the gun that they found hidden, was talking about those types. So whether he is cooperating with police or not, he's doing exactly what everybody would be told to do. You know, hire a lawyer and don't say nothing. That's what everybody. So I'm not saying he's not cooperating. He's just not. He's not spilling the beans, but he's doing what any lawyer would tell him to do, is keep your mouth shut and don't talk to nobody without me there.
Yeah.
Well, he already did all the talking beforehand. He already sent all the messages. You know, they have those types of things. So now it's a matter of digging into what else, who else is there more? Was there people that were maybe, aware of what was going on? And once again, these are things that are going to come out over the next little while, but it's questions that they have. And man, I mean, dude, it's like this, that they caught the guy, and big part and thanks to the guy's mom and dad for doing the right thing, turning their son in. I know that had to be horrible for them as parents, but that's at least their path, in my opinion. That if they didn't know nothing about this and they were truly just in the dark over this, and if they truly were, then in my personal opinion, they should not have no bad repercussions in society or anything for what their adult son ended up doing. Because they did what any right person should do. They turned him in. They talked him into turning himself in. They got him to the police and handed him over into the custody. As a mom and dad, that's tough, but they did that, and so I'm trying to give them every chance in the world to be just people that, man, their son just want to ride. That happens, man. People get indoctrinated and brainwashed, or they believe certain things, and it happens.
Well, I'm
hoping they didn't know.
Well, me too. You know what I mean? I hope that they didn't know, and like it wasn't another case of just like, oh yeah, we had suspicions and we didn't say anything till it was too late, and then whatever, right? I mean, it can go a lot of different ways, and they shouldn't be held accountable. One thing that like makes me wonder, though, like, I mean, is just the psychology behind like this person's thinking on, you're gonna do something like that, and then you're gonna leave a permanent trail of what you did by sending a message to somebody. Like, I just don't understand. Like, did you want to get caught? Like, what?
No, I can tell you what he wanted. He wanted the notoriety.
That's sick.
With his butt. He didn't want to be caught by the big police. He wanted his little lover to understand that he did this. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it anyway.
Well, yeah, I think you might be onto something there. I mean, we it's no secret that the whole trans thing, you know, like that's been a big part of the people blowing this up in a very negative way, right? Saying that Charlie Kirk was X, Y, and Z, which I don't believe he was. And I don't believe he had an active campaign against them at all. So, yeah, it's like, hey, look, I'm involved in this movement. Look what I did for it. And you know what I mean? For the person who committed this crime.
Well, the
So,
reason
yeah,
why that
bizarre.
they didn't like Charlie Kirk, in my view, the reason they didn't like Charlie Kirk is because he was that mirror of a person standing in front of them that could say, I'm willing to tolerate, but I'm not willing to proclaim it. You know, like he told that one fellow on there that was asking him about hellfire. You know, should he be worried about hellfire because he was, you know, homosexual? And Charlie made it clear. In my view, from what I've learned, yes. Well, that's the honest answer to that person. Now, does that mean that he has the all-knowing right of everything? No, that just means that he's answering with conviction. This is how I see it, but I don't hate you for what you do. I'm just telling you that in my belief that you might.
This is my interpretation of the facts and my belief. You know what I
This is
mean?
how
Like
I
this.
believe.
And you asked the question. Like you asked the question. See, that's
You
the
asked
thing.
the question.
Well, how's that saying go? Don't ask questions you don't want answers to. You know what I mean? Like that part's.
You guys, they asked for tolerance years
Yeah.
ago. Asked for
Yep.
tolerance for certain things, not just with gay rights, but civil rights, all that. You ask for tolerance with things. Well, with these certain rights, with these things, like just because you say that, like with laws that's on the books, there's certain laws that I abide by that I'm like, I don't even understand why this is a law, but I abide by it because it's the law. Well, it's the same. Like there, you wanted tolerance, you wanted to be able to do certain things. Well, you're allowed to do certain things, but that doesn't mean that I, as a human being, have to proclaim it to be the way of life. That just means I have to tolerate it because it's part. And I don't mean tolerate it like, oh, it's so hard. It's not that hard to I'm just saying that's what the laws are there for, is to create a toleration point. Like, okay, you have to tolerate it whether you like it or not. This is the law. This is what this, because I tolerate laws every day. That I feel like if I don't see a car coming when I'm going up to a stop sign, I feel like if I don't see a car coming, if there's nobody around, then that stop sign really don't count.
Just
but
roll
according to the law, it does.
That's correct.
So I stop at that stop sign knowing that, okay, if I did get caught, I'd get a ticket. My insurance is going to go up, blah, blah, blah. But in my heart, I'm like, well, hell, I can see both ways. There ain't nothing coming. There's only 3 vehicles in this whole county. I'm driving one of them. My wife's at work. That's the second one. My daddy, I just watched him leave. Well, there ain't no vehicles left on the road. I can just go back. I don't need. No, that's not true. Because the 4th vehicle is a county cop that will pull you over and give you a ticket. And
that's right.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's just my way of you know, dumbing it down to a point where it's like, okay, you ask for time. But this stuff of trying to push it on our kid, dude, that's where I draw the line. You know, like I told you last night, man, when I was in elementary school, the only thing this little boy thought of was playtime, going out to the you know, going out to on the playground, and when gym class was, and when I got to go play baseball or football or whatever my sport was that I was playing at that time, whatever the season was in. And I wasn't thinking about no transgenders, nothing, no cross-dress. I wasn't thinking about no girls yet. I wasn't thinking about none of that. I wanted to play with my buddies. I wanted to go, you know, run and jump and do all the bravado things that little boys want to do. But my mind was not like I would have been. I can tell you right now, like if that would have been something that was part of the curriculum, I would have been like, why? I don't, I don't want to. Oh, well, he wants to talk about nasty old girls. At that point, that's how I felt as a little boy. Like, I know. And that's the way you're supposed. You grow into those things.
And I mean, that's just that's the kind of, what do I want to say here? The natural course of events, right? So like, if I start pushing this whole other thing of like, oh, maybe you are a girl, or maybe you are a boy. And then you start putting people around these people like this. I mean, we know, like, psychologically, it's like before 10 years old, man, like you just got to let kids do their thing and figure it out.
man.
Let them
Come
be
on.
kids, man. There's going
They
to be
grow
enough.
up fast enough, man. They
I
grow up
know.
fast enough. And,
I know,
you
man. Like
know,
no.
you don't
I
have to push this shit. And it makes me worry because there was a point in time where that we really did draw a line with our society and people like, hey, you don't mess with kids about
Oh
this kind of stuff.
man.
You keep this
Oh
shit
yeah.
out of here. Hey,
Yeah.
like I've told you, man, there is stuff, books that I wouldn't want to read out loud to you, Shine. It would make me blush and I'd be afraid you'd want to marry me.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I don't, I'm married. I don't
time
want
to
to get
get
married.
scared.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
nasty stuff,
Yep.
dude.
Mhm.
Dang,
Mhm.
this ain't just R rated. This is X
You know,
rated. This ain't right.
and these are in children's schools, in
In the
children's
schoolhouses.
libraries. Like,
Yeah.
no, this is not like there was one that came out up here, and they had it on the news, and I could only listen to it for about maybe a minute. Like, and it was within like the first 2 pages. Like the guy who was doing the news broadcast was making a point of like, listen to the intensity of this. And I'm not gonna. I remember
All right,
verbatim.
man.
It burnt my brain, man. And I'm thinking like, well, that I'm a grown adult, right? And that had that effect on me. Imagine how confusing that would be to, I don't know, a 6, 7, 5, 10-year-old, anything, right? Boy or girl. Like, no, man, like that's just not what's supposed to be going in here at that time frame, or
And
personally.
not in the school anyway. Period.
No. Like, back in the day, if you wanted to buy an old-fashioned porno or skin magazine, I mean, you had to be 18 years old.
Oh man, or dude, yeah, man. If one of your buddies come toting in one from the house back in middle school, man,
You know?
you're gonna hit the lottery. Like, oh, we got a skin mag.
Woo, let's see what's happening here. I buy it for the articles.
Yeah.
Right.
And now, man, that stuff's just now you see that on the morning news. You'll see stuff like that on the morning news. I mean, regular old TV. And my thing is like it's whatever adults want to do with their time, then I'm the kind of dude that, you know what, it's your life. We only get a certain amount of time. If that's what you want to do and you're not hurting me or anybody else, and that's the way you want it, then I say go for it. Whatever.
More power to you, man. Whatever you want to do.
When you start involving offspring and the seed of people, that to me is a big deal. Like that's my child. That my wife and I we brought into this. We brought into this environment. We're trying to raise this child, and now you're taking things that we don't see fit and pushing them down kids' throat. When really all we want you to do is teach them how to read, teach them how to write, and critically think for themselves, because that's what school ultimately does, guys. It's not about the information that you gather while you're there. It's about learning to deal with information and learn the information even when you don't really want to, because you're going to be doing what you really don't want to do for the most majority of your life as a man or as a woman.
That's a fact. Those are facts. Yep.
So that's where I see the breakdown is like, man, when we start bringing this crap into the elementary schools, into the preschools, in the elementary schools, and in the middle schools, we're raising a group of people up that think sex is a game, that think it's about the way you feel, not what anatomy says or what biology says. And that makes for a dangerous precedent to set. But there's conversations to be had respectfully around it, as long as people keep from calling each other names. And on the other side, a lot of times the people that believe that way, they shut you down by screaming. They shut you down by calling you names. And that lets me know right then I need to pray for them, because they're lost. Because usually when somebody gets loud or starts calling you names, it's because they truly have no defense left. That is their defense. That's the only way they can bubble themselves in. And that's their biggest problem, is they spend 90%, 99% of their time in a little social media bubble that everything they say is hunky-dory and perfect. And then as soon as they get outside of that bubble and they get they get approached with that uncomfortable feeling of, hey, this person don't agree 100% with me. Then their reaction is through violence, is through screaming at you, spitting at you, burning shit up.
Yep.
whatever. And that to me just says, okay, well, that is a lack
You're unhinged. That's an
that's a
unhinged
lack of
person.
education on
Yep.
something you think you stand for.
Yep.
If you start calling yourself making a stand on something, you should
Yep.
be one of the most educated people on that topic that there is to be found. If you call
Well,
yourself making a stand,
and I mean, if you're gonna put you're gonna get into that arena, like this is something you better be educated on it. You better be ready to go the distance on it.
yep,
And I mean,
Yep.
that's not even really what I see. I see people asking very normal questions in a regular way, or they're having their little gathering. An example of this is like they just had that, the big pride parade up here, right? And they list this as a family event, which no, it's not. There's people walking around bare ass, completely naked, dressed as dogs. Now, if I stripped off right now and walked outside bare bald, how far do you think that I would get before I'd be arrested or in some serious trouble? Right.
Yet, or a flock of birds mistake you for
yeah, snake food, right?
right. I've had that happen. That's why I meant that.
Yeah,
It was a long
exactly.
time ago. It was a couple of weeks back, but I had it happen.
And then if you say anything about it, if you say no, and I know this because like I was downtown while this was happening, and they're like, oh, come on up here. I'm like, no, thank you, not for me. Like I had to go do what I had to do, and tickety boo, see you later, right? Oh, come on. And then you start getting called down. Like I was getting called down for like not wanting to go and walk along with this whole thing that's happening. No, don't care. I mean, you can say whatever you want to me, but it was just such a weird thing because I've never really experienced that before, where it's like, no, kindly, thank you, no. See ya, have a good day. Walk away. Yeah. They're still allowing it to happen. So
I'm not going that way. I'm going. Which way do you say you're going? Yeah, I'm going that way. That's
exactly. So
see, that's the thing is like it's like why do we have to have it front and center, pushed down our throats all the time?
That's what I don't.
And since when should it ever be normalized that people run around half naked in the street for any cause?
Yeah.
Or flash themselves or
and for
whatever.
God's sake, couldn't they at least be good looking? I mean, come on. It's like my name is Gorloff the Destroyer. It's like you purposely like I know what you're doing. Like we know what you're doing. This is your moment, your month to shine that you get every year, that you can get away with just being a mess. That's the best way I can say it.
I think they just fight fire with fire. Next time I hear of a parade, I'm going to get naked and I'm going to go running through and I'm going to leave everybody stuck with the mental impression. Was that a hairy, cracked, crooked back frog that just ran past us?
I have more questions than answers.
Yeah.
And you got to run against the stream like the salmon.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get. Oh yeah. We're going. Yeah.
Bing, 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 bing. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, that's a good idea.
These types of things, man. I think it's important though that we start normalizing the conversation about how silly it is, because they fought an awful long time in the past 10, 12, 15 years to normalize this nonsense and make us confess to this nonsense, or try to make people confess to this nonsense. And I think it's just about high time that in the nicest way possible, we tell them to kiss our butts one cheek at a time. That reality is we don't all believe the same way, and that's fine. But you're not going to make me proclaim something that I find morally repugnant. I'm sorry.
And even on top of that, like it's just like time and place, folks. You know what I mean? Middle of the day.
That's what I'm saying, man. And what you do in your bedroom, leave it in your bedroom. What you do in your why does the world need to know about this? Why do we need to know? Why do we even need to know?
No.
Like I don't need to know if you're gay, straight, lesbian. I don't need to know any of that. Like I can live in this world the rest of my life, and the only partner I need to have any concern over is my wife.
That's right.
Other than that, I don't have no concern over anybody else's business and what they do or anything like that. And it's been pushed down their throats, bro. It's like like you have to listen to it.
Yep. And then I wonder too, like for, because like a lot of it, like, you know, for like the people that started up like Pride was like mostly gay men, right? Like that's kind of like where a lot of this had derived from initially. And even the people like those guys who started this up, they're like that this isn't what this is was initially about anymore.
No,
This is something totally, and
it's
you'll
not.
see them not participate, and that's sad because I mean them people had to fight hard to get to where they were at.
The people
And
that just wanted to have a fair shot in society like everybody else,
yeah,
you don't even know about them. You don't even know anything about that they're gay,
mm-mm,
straight, whatever. You don't know.
no,
It's the
no,
ones out here in the street that's making a mockery out of the
mhm,
work they put in trying to
mhm.
get this fairness, that it's sickening to them too. They're like,
Yep,
this is not what we were trying to go
no,
for.
no, no,
You've
no,
made a
no,
mockery out of something that we felt was deserved, as far as like, hey man, we should at least be able to marry who we want. And in my hey, it's your life, live it to what I don't care. That's
do what you
cool. I
want.
like, okay, it's part of the law now. So it's like, hey, I don't care either which way.
Hey
But
man, yeah,
it, but that doesn't mean that we have to keep going on and on about everybody. I mean, everybody does not get down. That's not for everybody, and it's
no,
definitely not for our young innocent children at school trying to play merry-go-round and trying to go out on the playground and trying to just have a little bit of fun with their friends and stuff. They are not interested in none of that nonsense at that point. Matter of fact, you begin a conversation in the name of not confusing them, and that's what you do. You confuse them. You create an environment in which that they start questioning reality right off the rip. And it's taken away from the nuclear family. You're just trying to rob from that by doing that. You should leave people's kids to letting the parents raise their children, and the schoolhouses need to get back to teaching the kids about reading and writing
yeah,
and things like that. But this nonsense of you trying to push your what you think is right for your life, just because you feel like it's right for your life, does not mean that 90% of the rest of the world feels the same way with you. Like
no,
you're a small fringe of society anyway. You've been
yeah,
given your opportunity to be equal, fair, and like go do you. But now to make it part of the hiring process. Well, you're gay. Okay, well, you're hired. Or to
uh-huh.
make it part of our classroom in any type of way. I'm sorry, but that just does not work for me. It's not meant
No,
for that. It's not meant for that.
it's not meant for that. And like like you think about all this stuff that effort's been put into over the years. Like bullying was like the big thing. Like when we went to school, like you know what I mean. And then afterwards, they kind of define bullying more. And then I think about like what's happening right now, and I'm like, well, if you don't comply with this indoctrination, because I guess that's the best word to use, then you get bullied into having to be agreeable because you are in a school, you are surrounded by people that are looking at you. Oh, well, what's wrong with you for not? Well, what's wrong with me for thinking? Like, for
Right.
one, like I can explain to you why I'm uncomfortable with this, why it doesn't seem to make any sense. There's lots of data saying that like this is a mental issue when we're talking specifically about the trans issue. Um, called gender dysphoria, and that's been on the books for years, and they literally can write out what's going to happen. So it's like if I take a bunch of people and then I just look at this objectively and be like, all right, well, these people are all jacked up on testosterone. Even if I took a man and loaded him up on the same amount of testosterone, he's going to be screaming and yelling and smashing stuff too, and not have like one thought that he can spark together to think about. So now, how does that make sense, and how does this work out in the long run? And it feels like an active campaign against exactly what you said, the nuclear family, right? Like this
Well,
can't keep going on. It can't.
it's the only win, if you want to look at it from an ideological standpoint. It's the only win that they're getting, because the
Yeah.
real win is the youth. If you can rob the minds of the youth and
Yep.
screw their way of thinking up, and I like, it sickens me with all this stuff about kids being able to go get this done without their parents' consent and that done. It's like, look, man, I just took my kid to the dentist this morning to get a
Yep.
cleaning. The lady,
Yeah.
I went out to the car to set after I took him in, made sure he was signed in. And I mean, he's 15 years old going on 16. It's like, I don't need to go and set with him while he's getting his teeth cleaned. So I'm sitting out in the truck. Directly, the lady comes out and she's walking with a clipboard. So I get out and I meet her halfway across. I needed to sign that little piece of paper. She said, I forgot to have you sign this so that we can treat them. I had to sign. They had to make sure they had my signature just to give them a teeth cleaning. And we're wanting to talk about kids being able to make a decision to go do something horrible to their body, and before that they're old enough to to even sign it. That's not right. That's you're
No.
robbing. That's
Yeah.
not right, man.
No, it's not. And yeah, there's a lot that's behind that too. Like, if some of this is brought up in school, and depending on where you're at up here, I know there was an issue last year locally where this stuff was talked about in school. I believe the kid was about 8 years old, and rightfully was confused. They sent him to the guidance counselor. Guidance counselor asks a bunch of questions. Father shows up to pick the kid up after school, as you do, right? And was met with police, right? The police were there, and he was asked one question, has your son talked to you about this kind of stuff before, and do you embrace it? His answer was absolutely no. He was escorted away immediately by police, and then the child was taken to Child Protective Services.
It's crazy, isn't it, man? It's crazy.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all.
Kids, people can do what they want with their bodies, but give them a chance to grow up. Give them a chance. That's why that we try
Let their
to
brain develop.
that's why we try to put age restrictions on even vapes or cigarettes or anything like that, is so that, man, you give kids' minds a chance to grow up just a little bit before you damage it like that. And same way with this stuff. You let it, you go and do something like this to some of these young people, and there's been plenty of them come out in the past couple of years. It's like, man, this was the worst mistake I ever made because I ruined myself.
Yeah,
ruined myself. That right there should be enough to say, look, guys, for the chance of one, it's not worth it. To chance the one, it's not worth it. You wait until you're 18. If that's your solid adult decision at that point, then so be it. But we're not going to allow you to do these types of things to yourself before that you're old enough, to say, okay, it's on you now. It's not on. You can make that decision, and a lot of them would probably change their mind. A lot of them would probably nah, I don't want to do this.
I kind of for myself, I think about it with, with pill addiction, right? Maybe had I known, what I mean, where that was going to end me up and how it was going to own me, right? Maybe I would have made different decisions, right? I did not have all the information when I started taking that stuff and then abusing it, right? However, the thing that really gets me on this is that, doctors take an oath to do no harm, and scientifically it can be proven by just the hormone stuff. We don't even got to get into the puberty blockers, but just giving the opposite sex the opposite hormone, so estrogen or testosterone, what it 100% will do to your body. So osteoporosis, different nerve diseases, like a collapse of your organs and everything else. So how is that being allowed? How can you do this, period, here, in the West? I just don't understand. I don't get it. If I said I don't like this arm anymore, I need you to cut it off.
Well, yeah,
I mean, they wouldn't do it. So
dude, that's what I'm saying, man. And so that therefore answers the question of why are we having all these crazy nonsense things happening to this age group of people? Well, look at the stuff they've been fed and that they've been brainwashed into thinking that is right. Like just all the way down to the whole idea of locking these kids down for a couple of years. Guys, that was the worst thing we could have ever done for any of these kids, my kids, your kid, anybody's kids. And then trying to convince them that, because you feel a certain way, then that makes you a certain way. Well, guys, I ain't seen not one of these people that feel like a woman come and have a baby. You know what I mean? And it's like, I heard that one dude on there that I totally respect, and he was like, all right, I like to dress like a woman, but I know that I'm not a woman. I just like to dress. It's something I like to do. I like the way it makes me feel. I like to dress
Good.
like this. But I
Yep.
also know, and I'm not trying to convince other people that I'm something I'm not. Like right here might give it away. You know what I mean?
The beard, the beard was the giveaway.
The camel foot, not camel toe, might give it away.
Yeah.
You know, all these things are kind of clues as to you're not you're not a woman, you know. And I hate that for people that maybe do have that feeling. I hate that for them. That sucks. But that's not not my problem. It's not it's not the world's problem.
And like the thing too is like, is this a problem that is occurring naturally, meaning like in the biosphere of a human, that okay, you're going through this naturally, it's something that's happening mentally or whatever, that's we got to figure out why this is happening. My thing is, why is it such a kaboom effect where it's like, okay, now this is what we're doing, and if you're not compliant, you're against us? Not everybody's dealing with that. Just wanting to be part of a group. Like, you know what I mean?
Your political representatives, and that goes on our countries, both our countries.
Mm-hmm.
When you see any one of them, and we've seen every one of them, especially on one side or the other, take a stance on certain topics, this is the kind of shit you get. And they're not, that's not what their jobs are. They're not to get up. That's not what their jobs are. To take stances on things. It's to try to work out for their constituents the best deal possible for their town or for their borough or whatever you want to call it. And, you know, I have personally witnessed our elected representatives. They've picked this topic, and that's what they have pushed and pushed and pushed. And that's all that it's like, that's everything. And just totally shoved it into the public's face. But now they're starting to I think they're starting to see that just because you got a loudspeaker does not make you the most voices. It just makes you a loud voice. And, you know, sometimes being loud is good. Sometimes you got to get loud in order to get heard. But then sometimes when, you know, you've been loud for too long, then you start to get under people's skin, and you're wearing your welcome out. And now this crap of every time something happens, it has to be like we've got this big brain on Shatanya Johnson coming in with the N-word in our stuff, right? You got these kind of people that they start out a conversation by calling somebody a name or suggesting that something that it's not. So you just have to pray for these weak-minded folks and say, you know, I'm not going to get upset with them. I'm just upset that they've allowed the world to twist their mind like that. And I'm upset that they live in such a tight bubble that they don't realize that that's not the mass that thinks that way. That's their little bubble. That's their think tank bubble.
Get outside of your house and actually go take a look around is what I like to say to people. You know what I mean? Because apparently these devices have a lot more control than I've ever given them credit for. You know what I mean? Like if it was so, and it has been that easy to convert almost a generation, if not more, of people into this kind of thinking and ideology, it's like, how many more can we really let slip through the cracks before there's just nothing left?
It's like I say, man, it's time to start speaking what's truly on your mind and start calling this nonsense out. And they have thrown around like this person coming in our chat with the N-word, Charlie Kirk N-word video, right? Well, look at what a blanket statement that is making. Now, who's the racist? They're coming in to white people's channel, and all automatically we have to be talking about some type of racism, something, or we have to be saying something about someone. And that's just not true. That's racism, whether it's black people, white people, black people, that's racism. And you come in somebody's chat and leave some kind of comment like that, and then expect to not get caught. No, I think we should let the world know that your name is Shatanya Johnson, and you feel like because we're two white folks having a conversation, it's got to be based around an N-word. And that's racism. And I call you out on it. That's weak-minded. And I'm sorry you live in such a closed-minded bubble.
Well, and like that's something I was thinking about a lot since this whole event has happened with Charlie Kirk. Is back in the day, like, they had skinheads where I grew up, and I mean, they were racist skinheads to the best of their ideology. You know what I mean? Like they really believed in what they were believing in, and then you had what they call the Anti-Racist Association, which is just translated now into Antifa, right? And then they have their other groups on the other side. And I don't understand how any of that is applicable in how you think. Like the problem I have with both of those ideologies is like, okay, you got one group on this side who thinks this way, all right? And now you got this other group on this side who thinks the other way. Yet the group on the other side that's supposed to be the anti-racists are actually inflicting more racism and discrimination than any other group I've seen. Yeah. Like it's just it's a crazy thing to be doing and think that like it's fine, It's like, what? And what, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
I think that somehow I know that it is this way for myself and for us. It's like all of a sudden, if somebody throws the N word at you, you're supposed to kowtow. You're supposed to say, "Oh, well, they feel like I'm racist." I don't care what you feel like. The world don't care about your feelings.
No.
That's the way you feel because I know that that's not true. And
let me just get out a hurt feelings report here, and we'll take down that name. And
that's such an uneducated response to anything. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't get the fish today. They were racist.
Them fish are all racist. None of them were biting.
Them bass seen my shadow and they're I ain't gonna bite no worm on that one. Come on, man. Gotta stop with that crap. Get out of your bubble. They live in
I don't even really like honestly, I don't even really understand what that
we'll talk about racism. You know what I mean? Let's talk about this. Now I can guarantee this. This is one thing I could guarantee, and I would run this bet with anybody.
Okay.
I could bring a Mexican person, a black person, a Chinese person, whatever you think that the ethnic group is that ain't from around here, because they're all from around here. Yeah. But I could bring one of those and I could let them walk through my town and nobody would ever bother them. Could you take me to one of their towns and let my little skinny white tail walk through theirs? No, somebody would mess with me just because I was different, just because I didn't look like the people that they thought lived there. Well, that's a blanket racism if there ever was one. So it's like I'm just so sick of that being the way that people get out of the true difficult conversations. Let's talk about what really needs to happen instead of our feelings. Your feelings are not always the way of the world. Matter of fact, 90% of the time, you're just in some feelings that don't really mean shit to nobody else but you. You can go pay a psychiatrist. They might care, but you're also paying them big money. Probably not. You can treat to your little group bubble, and they might tell you they care and send you some folded hand prayers, but I guarantee they never closed their eyes and said one prayer for you that went up. No, they sent you their little folded hands and went to the next comment and give them the same folded hands. They didn't ever say your name in front of Jesus. They didn't ever send no prayer up for you. They give you that little thing. But in your mind, that's support. Oh, that's support. But
that's the problem. It's all false. You know what I mean? Like there's no genuinity behind it. There's no reality behind it. People are just, and I think that's more dangerous than just actually telling a person like, no, you're out of your freaking mind right now. But you know what I mean?
Calling everybody.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
People using that. It's like, dude, shut up. That's so stupid. Yep. I mean, like, I don't have no more privilege. Yep. I'm as poor as any other poor person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I do know. Dust bunnies I got in my pocket compared to how many's in yours. Either which way, there's dust bunnies in there. You know what I mean?
Right?
Like, it's I ain't found the flea market or the dollar store that accepts dust bunnies yet.
Not yet, but we're trying.
They're even getting a little hard on the EBT card around here, so it's like I mean, damn, dust bunnies. That's tough to, that's the thing, man. It's like you got people and you got people that are my age, a couple years older. You got people that are a little bit younger. and you know that the only experience that they have in that is in their own little bubble, because that's not the experience. That's not how people feel. That's truly not how people feel. But shout out to everybody. We appreciate y'all being here, Brother Clint. I see you in the house. Thank you very much, Gen X, for being here, man. Mom and Missy, I see you there in the house. We appreciate you too, Shajanya Jackson. I would rather you not say that, you know, blanket statement in our comments about Charlie Kirk N-word video. I don't even know what kind of mindless chatter that is, but we'll pray for you, and we hope that you can, you know, maybe find tolerance for people just because they're a different color and maybe from a different part of the world. And that's what you got. That's what people were asking for during the civil rights thing, was for people just to treat them fairly. Well, that's all I want, is just to be treated fairly.
And I mean, that's what Charlie was doing. He was trying to create, like, have these conversations, have these debates to cut down these ridiculous ideologies that people are hanging on to. And I would like, even like, you know, using that word or referring to racism, I don't think most people even know what that means anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't think that they get it at all. Yeah, and it, like, how much time has been spent in trying to get around that alone, and kind of looking at where we're at now.
The projection of racism is, you can come here to my comments and you can see this comment I've highlighted by Shatanya Johnson. Because of the name of our video, and because we're two white men on YouTube talking about a topic, she come in, or he come in, or whatever it is, come in and said Charlie Kirk N-word video. I really don't even like that word. I don't even like to hint at that word, but that's them coming in and saying that to us, and I'm calling it out. That's racism. That's coming in blanket statement. Two white men that are having a conversation around something that didn't have nothing to do with no N-word involved in it. Nothing to do with none of that.
Was that the way the comment was, like, the way that the person typed it in?
Yeah, that's the way they typed it in.
Okay, so that wasn't like
that Nightbot wouldn't.
Okay. I get, because like even the way it's written is confusing to me. I know that sometimes it takes a minute for me to get things, but like,
well, I mean, you can't help but think that it's got to be just because we're two white folks sitting here talking about Charlie Kirk that all of a sudden, you know, got some person that doesn't know us from Adam that suggests that it's an N-word video.
What does that say? It kind of proves everything that we're talking about right now.
It does.
Because, like, I mean, like, we can see how many people are in here, and it's like,
grow up. like
the odds of you, like, thank you, actually. You know what I mean? Thank you for proving.
You got that hair pulled up a little bit snug. You might ought to loosen up on that and let some blood flow in. Maybe bounce on up. Maybe you know, might help you out a little bit. I think you got some medicine for it too. It's called a life. You know, get out of your bubble and you might figure it out, man. You know. But anyway, yeah, man. Did you want to get us a drink, play a song for
sure.
Finish up the last half? We're at 15 after 12. Always good vibes to everybody. We appreciate y'all being here. Let's see. And they changed up the way they laid this thing out in here. And none of my everything looks so small. You know what I mean? The way that it is, and where I'm looking for. How about we play heavy hitter? I see heavy hitters.
Yeah, that sounds good. Perfect.
Let's do heavy hitters band. This is heavy hitters band. Shout out to Big Jack. Shout out to heavy hitters band. This is a little song called "I'm a Little Drunk Right Now." We appreciate y'all being here. This is
Thanks, guys.
And now we're here standing face to face, screaming, I'm a little drunk right now.
care and I hate the bore. You already know it. I'm an undiscovered poet, performer with rockstar motives. Let me tell you something that not many people have ever noticed. But I'm scared of being vulnerable. And I'm scared of commitment, but obviously, yeah, whatever. Who is it? I bet if I called you, you'll be right at my spot in about 5 minutes. And you're going to delete this voicemail, God forbid your man think I'm in it. I'll say this to you when I get up in it, but I'm a little drunk right now. But you would never know it. I'm a little drunk right now. But you would never know it. I'm a little drunk right now. Oh, I'm a little drunk right now. I know you're doing your best to, but I won't let you forget me. I know you're doing your best to, but I won't let you forget me. I want you to know I can love myself on my own, but I'm a little drunk right now. I'm a little.
A world where everyone belongs. In harmony we sing this song. Peaceful vibes in paradise. Underneath these turquoise skies. Hand in hand we walk as one. Feeling life like a rising sun.
Mistakes. No mistakes. No mistakes.
Oh man, here we go again. We're going to create change. Make it happen this time. Let's go, always good vibes. Get out of the open. I can feel it, it's going to be a good day, a great day. Let's go, always good vibes. Create change. Let's go, always good vibes. Change. Let's go, always good vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're back.
Thank God. Thank God it's hump day. I have to
Yeah. What
send out,
is it?
send out
Wow.
that memo. Send out that memo to my wife. Let her know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We got stuff. We got
Yeah.
stuff to do. We've been. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Guy. This is Shine. Welcome to GuyNShine, where we touch on the topics of the day, and this one just happens to be one that man, it's a big one. Touching on Charlie Kirk getting assassinated this past week, and just the effect on a lot of folks that I didn't even realize that were involved in his life or knew of him, and just the effects in my personal life. Like I told you, man, it was like that was the first time my kid ever come in from school and flopped down to ask me if I had heard about or seen about something due to something to do with some kind of influencer or somebody that like that. And that was one of the first things he did. He come in, got that sofa out here that I usually have my guitar sitting on one side and then the other side's open. He flopped down beside me and he's like, "Dad, did you see this, man, where Charlie Kirk got killed?" And right then I'm like, yeah, I'd already seen it. I knew that it had happened. But then I'm like, well, dang, now I never introduced that man. I never forced that on him. So that was something that through his little world that somehow Charlie Kirk had become a part of his, knowing about him and everything. And then come to find out my daughter as well. My daughter come up this past weekend and she too was like, yeah, man, that just so, and it just reinstilled in me that, okay, even the kids understand it. No matter what, this ain't right. Like this ain't the way
Yeah,
that things.
it took the wind out of me when I heard it, and then when I seen the actual footage of him getting hit, it was like it felt it really, and it still does. It feels like things have changed, and I don't think in a good way. Like that's that's how I feel about
I
it.
have a little different feeling on it because I feel like
Yep.
they took that one man's voice. They took
Yep.
it,
Yep.
but
Yep.
they amplified his message by millions.
Yeah.
That is where I find that, man, it sucks and I hate it. It's the most ignorant, heinous thing that I could think of.
Yeah.
But what it did do was it brought some people out of the fringe, out of the behind the scenes, and are saying, hey, this ain't right. This is crazy. This ain't the way we handle things. This man was actually doing it the way that all these people that want to get in our comments and say nasty things, or want to go in other people's or want to try to spout a bunch of stuff on Facebook or wherever it is they might be doing it. I guarantee that there might be a 0.5% of those people that would actually take it to a college campus and let's debate it.
They don't have the mental fortitude.
My microphone.
Yeah,
and they wouldn't do it because they know that they're just wrong. They're wrong, and the only reason why that you've been allowed to get away with this nonsense is for appeasement purposes. Well, now the percentage that's been keeping quiet, I think they're going to start speaking up, and I think the small percentage that's been making the noise has had the loudspeakers going to find out that just because they had the loudest voice does not mean that they had the numbers on their side. It's time to tighten up and get on back to the fringe of society where you belong.
Yep.
Get on out here with that crap.
Yep. And I hope that, like if there's any good to come out of this, that it is exactly like you just said, that people really start standing up for, like, hey, we're not going to let this slide again. Like, this is not going to happen again. We're not going to lose another.
Think about what they get mad at us for. All right. Now, they spent years standing up to us saying that they deserve to have the right to be married to who they want, or they had the right to have a job, or have a right to do. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, now you're wanting me to confess what I'm telling you I stand for, which it's all I'm allowed to stand for what I stand for. You're allowed to stand, but it doesn't make us have to hate one another. It does not make me, just because I don't agree with something that Shine does, or I don't agree with something that someone does not make me that I have to dislike that whole entire person. I can just say, okay, well, for that particular point, we don't see eye to eye on how was the football game last night.
Yeah.
Like this whole idea that somehow your political views or what you think would be a good idea, that defines you as a human being. And I just don't believe that. I have family from Maryland that are hardcore Democrats. I have family from Virginia that are hardcore Republicans. I have people from but for me, it's like, that's not, I didn't know you was a Republican or Democrat up until I was an adult or whatever. And we just happened to talk about them, but I love the hell out of you. Before then, I still love the hell out of you. It don't matter to me. Like and
it shouldn't. Like, that's what makes the West a great place. You know what I mean? And why, again, through like most of the discussions, that's how I see them. I don't like a disagreement. We can have a disagreement. That's fine. But that's going to spark something in my head. At least I hope it does for other people as well, to be like, well, maybe I never thought of it that way. You know what I mean? And like, the presentation is key. So if we're just discussing something, and me and you've done this before, where we're talking about something and we're like, well, no. And then you get to a point of being like, well, maybe that's possible, right? Like maybe that's a good idea. Maybe it's not. Maybe I don't want to change my stance, but it doesn't mean I'm into my friendship. And that's what's important here. I think a lot of these people don't have friends, real friends, that'll tell them like, no, you're off on this. Like we care about you. And like, you really should take a harder look into what you're saying. Because especially when you're using these kind of platforms, this is forever, folks. Like once you put it on here,
It's
It's
everywhere.
it's
It's
forever.
forever, man. And
You know.
I hope and I pray that for some of these young people and other people alike that I've seen on here spouting, jeering and cheering and just going on about this man dying. I hope in a few years that you regret ever feeling that way, because you
Yeah.
shouldn't feel that way about anybody passing on like
Anybody.
that in any
Anybody.
type of manner.
No.
And to allow that to be normalized, I think is where we go wrong as a society. When we had, like I said, I may not have a very big platform, but I can tell you this for sure. If on my private platform or here at Mine and Shine's shared platform, if
Mhm.
there's ever a guest that we have on that they come on wanting to spout that it was cool that somebody got assassinated, or cool that something happened, I would have them off this platform. They would. I can't keep them from saying what they want, but I can keep them from saying what they want on my platform.
That's right.
I don't have to
Yep.
condone it here. So the way I look at it is free speech. Yeah, it stinks sometimes because you got to put up with some stinking nonsense.
Mhm.
But just because you have free speech does not mean you're free from repercussion for that speech in a private manner, in a way where there's going to be employers that look at that. There's going to be people
Yep.
in your life that are like, whoa, I can't
Yeah.
trust you. Yeah, you feel like it's good for people to die when they don't like what you're doing. I can't have you running the
And you're
I'm sorry.
rejoicing in it. Like, that's the craziest part.
I'm
Like,
sorry, Sean, but you feel like there's people that may need to die once in a while. So I can't have you running the factory for me because I don't want you just offing people.
I don't want you to have a bad day. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Right?
So,
Like,
say what you want, right? Say
Yeah.
what you want, free speech. But
Yeah.
don't start crying and pissing and moaning and belly aching over
Mhm.
when the repercussions come back. And you know what I mean? It's just
I
like
do.
when
Yeah,
I
I do.
remember
I do.
I
Yeah.
took my coins out one time. This is a funny story. Now it's not really funny, but it's just how this is how my simple mind correlates it.
Mhm.
But I took my coins out to the coin star one time because I needed my money. I needed some gas. I needed some money in my pocket. We was broke. It's been several years ago, and they got that coin star thing where you just dump your coins over in it. It shuffles them, counts them, and then you get this thing to go up to the counter, and then they'll give you the cash for it, for whatever cash you had, right?
Okay. Yep.
But it also charges you 15%. Well, I was
Mhm.
happy with that 15% right up until I realized that if I had to just counted it myself, I'd have got to keep $100, and instead I
Mm.
only got 80 some bucks. And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I wish I had a chance to do that over again. And I don't like the way that worked out, so I won't do that no more. And
That's right.
hey, there's elevated
Live,
shout out.
learn, and adjust. You know what I mean? Live,
Yeah,
learn,
Pin
and
Shane in the
adjust.
house too. We see you.
Yeah.
Guys,
Nice
we're
to see you.
talking on Charlie Kirk death, and we were touching on, the guy that they had in court yesterday. I don't even say his name. I know his name. Y'all
Yeah.
can look up his name if you want to look up. You know who I'm talking about. But the guy that's, he's the one that assassinated him, and he pretty much confessed on his text messages to his lover. And the DNA test from stuff has come back that it's positive match for him. But all they did yesterday was he's going to be court appointed. The court appointed attorney set up for that, and they read him what he was being charged with, and it was aggravated murder.
Mhm.
Because there was kids around. I mean, hell, it was a college campus. They're all kids. A lot of kids there. A lot of people. It was in public, so they're charging him with the death penalty. I believe I'm right, that they're
Yep.
going for the death penalty for this man. And once again, we spoke on it earlier, Sean. I mean, I have to say that if his parents come back clean, and I'm saying
Mm.
if, because it's a big if, I don't know.
Yeah.
But if they truly didn't know anything about this boy going to do something like this, then at least they did the right thing. As a mom and dad, that has to be the most horrible decision
I can't
to have to
imagine.
make,
Yeah.
knowing that
Yeah.
this ain't a crime of you stealing and you're going to get out in a few years. This is a
No.
crime of you capital murder, killing somebody, aggravated murder somebody. You're looking at the death penalty, but we've got to turn you in because you shouldn't have done that. That was wrong, and
Yep.
we can't condone it. And man, if there's any redemption for that family, that's it. Is the fact
Yeah.
that mom and dad, I hate what their son did, but you cannot judge that mom and dad. That was a grown man. That was a 22-year-old man. By the time I was 22, I'd been married for 4 years and was living in a place that I was paying for. So you're an adult. You're making your own damn decisions at that point. But now, if they knew and didn't do something, then I say bring a long arm of the law down on them and put them in a chokehold and don't stop squeezing.
Well, and I see it, the question there, and I was wondering that too. Like, how is he getting aggravated instead of premeditated? I mean,
aggravated is worse, from my understanding.
And the
reason why it's aggravated is because there was people around.
So he was a threat to others.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And I think, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just going on like what the news says. The CFM's Queen. It's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Yeah. And I'm with you. The premeditated definitely makes perfect sense to me because he went and cased it out and everything. But I think the reason why that it's aggravated is because it's a higher charge than the premeditated. I don't know that.
Okay.
I'm not a lawyer, but that's
that would especially in Utah, because like we were talking before we started doing the cast, was that the governor came out straight before they even had anybody, like before they had the picture, and he's like, remember, Utah is a death capital, or it has the death sentence. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that that's what they're going to be going for. And I mean, hey.
I'm pretty sure that was my understanding when that fellow was given the details, what they were willing to share with everybody.
Yep.
I think the way that I understood it was the charges were as such, and that's the big one. That it was the big, the biggest stuff. Yeah. Now there might be other charges still yet. I don't know about all that. But that one's pretty good. That's a pretty good one. Like that one gets you death if you.
Well, I mean, even with like, I don't know exactly how it works down there, but like, what do they call it? Accessory after the fact. Like with him texting his lover or whatever it was. Like, would they not also be?
Yeah. Well, right? See, now it's the timeline. See, now from what they said was that the messages that they could forensically see that he had sent was after he had committed the crime and was spilling the beans on his way out, trying to get things worked out and get out of there and flee the scene. And he was waiting to try to go get his gun back because he left the gun hid. And he was hoping that they didn't find it and was going to sneak back in, grab it, and then be gone. And in his mind, he hadn't left no evidence. But man, they already had him on camera. They already had his DNA collected. They already had it. Dude, they were on that boy like white on rice on a paper plate in a snowstorm. I mean, they were on him, man. And but he left a lot more evidence than he thought he left behind.
Yeah.
But
but like if you tell, like, because I know up here, like in Canada, right? Like if I commit a crime and let's say I tell my best buddy about it and I get caught for it and they find out that I told him about it, he's gonna get charged with accessory after the fact, right?
Yeah. Now, my understanding is if they can figure out that through Discord messages or through any other type of messages that communications he had with people, that if there's anybody that knew that had kind of been working with him or harboring the idea or helping him to figure out how, that there would be more that there would be more charges. But I heard that it's more than 20 people that they're looking into.
Holy smokes, man.
They're trying. See, this is another thing that I encourage people to is pull back on the reins just a second and realize what's being done here. These people are not only collecting evidence at a record fast pace, but they have to make sure they do it right so that it upholds in court. Because if they don't go through the proper warrants, they don't go through the proper procedure, then all this stuff could not be, could be in jeopardy of not being admissible into court. So with all that being said, I understand that there's certain things they're not letting go of yet because they're going through the proper
checks and balances
to make sure that it is applicable when they get to court, that they can use it, because otherwise a good lawyer will have that shit thrown out. I don't even know nothing about law. But I did watch Law and Order for a couple of years, and I mean, I was a binge watcher, and I think I could get some shit thrown out, because I'd be like, no, that wasn't correct.
That,
you know
CSI gave me a good background in what not to do.
If you need somebody to represent you that isn't a lawyer but will, just holler at me. I do have a small affidavit that I'll need you to sign that kind of says that you're messing up. but we'll give it a try. Like, I mean, hell, if you're already up shit creek, you might as well give me a holler.
You might as well take a few
I'll
swings.
bring you a paddle. I'm not saying I'm going with you. I'm just saying that I'll throw you a paddle and like I'll root you on.
See how far you get.
But seriously, that was my understanding behind some of the not release of things, some of the partial releases of things, and not disclosing too much more was because of just keeping up with chain of custody, proper warrants, proper things, so that it will all, because this is a big deal, guys, and we want to make sure that when we take this man before his jury appears, that we have done things 1,000% correct to the best of our abilities, even if it has to be, even now that we have him apprehended. He ain't going nowhere. He's there. Now that we have him apprehended, I encourage our people that's in. Now you can, all right, you've give us enough information to be able to know, okay, you've got a good handle on this suspect. Like, okay, now let law do what it does, and let them collect the evidence as need be. And I feel like that, the best thing that we can do is understand that, okay, as long as you're willing to keep coming with the information on a regular basis as things come available and things are ready, I'm cool with understanding that you need to pull the reins back and make sure you use proper chain of custody, proper warrants, proper all that kind of stuff. But it's the second in which, see, they got this, it's a double-edged sword here. See, they're trying to deal with the information vacuum, and they're trying to deal with getting ahead of conspiracy theories and getting ahead of things like that. They're giving information so they know, like, hey, we've got our guy. We've got enough to really feel good about what we're doing and proceed forward. But we have to do certain things in certain ways for it to be, it may sound good in the court of public opinion, but we need to make sure that it upholds good in the court of law. And that, thankfully is a little bit different than the court of public opinion. That's the only thing that separates, our civilized countries and our country, for me, in the United States. It's man, without the justice system, then you ain't got no chance, guy. Like that's what makes it. If she's not blind, we're screwed. If Lady Justice isn't blind, we're all up that shit. You might as well bring. My paddle's for me. I'm gonna keep it because we're all up crap creep. If that's
my son was asking me, he never seen the statue of Lady Justice before, right? And it was about a week ago. He seen it. And he goes, why is she ever, why is she blindfolded? And I was like, so everybody's treated equally, right? Like under the letter of the law. And he goes, huh? And like you could see the wheels turn in his head at that time, but. What I see down there, I do have questions about the security around the whole event, because like, one, this isn't like the first time somebody's had a shot taken at them. I mean, we know like Trump's been shot at a few times now, and there's been others, but it does baffle me, like how does this keep happening, especially when this is such a high profile person that it seems like anybody can do this. You know what I mean? Like if they decide to take it upon themselves, they just show up and they do their thing, and then they're gone. I don't understand how these breaches keep happening. Why do these things keep happening?
I mean, I can tell you just like this. I feel it's just like this, guys. These people that are out here, I want to encourage them. I'm not saying it's any fault of their own or anything. They shouldn't even have to have security, but being you're in a position where you have to have security, then I would encourage you this. Send one of your people that work with, like for Mr. Kirk. All right, for the people that's coming in behind him, that's going to be going and doing these speeches and everything, I encourage you to call myself, uh, eh, I will happily bring a drone and I
Yep.
will fly it and I will alert your security team that's creating your personal perimeter bubble for you. I will fly the drone up in the air and do a quick scan of the rooftops before you know what I mean? Like, I encourage them, seriously, hire, like, it would not take you that much out of your budget to just hire you someone that don't mind flying the drone and go, hell, go get
Man,
your
yeah,
own drone. I'll go get my own drone. I'll sit there
yeah,
and
I'll
debate
be
and fly
flying it
my
around,
drone
dude, like, making
and make
sure.
sure that, yeah,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean,
Rooftop 7, code red. Let's go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to. We have to do a better job than this. It's. There's been too many close calls. There's been too many, and now this, right? Which is beyond a close call. It's finality. You know.
I don't know. Trump's head of security is actually now. I mean, if you're talking about the guy that was his actual his personal guard when he got shot, then that's the dude that's running the Secret Service now.
Mm.
But I'm not. I haven't heard nothing about that. See, I'm not going to say yes or no. But what I can say about the whole situation with the drone, I'm with you on that. That why they didn't have some drones, I don't know. We can go through that. But
Yeah.
it still comes down to, like, these people, like, we've made it normal now for these people to have security around them, and that's where we need to start the battle. Is like, we need to unnormalize that. Like, guys, we shouldn't be threatening people that want to come on and talk on campus, and there shouldn't be death threats, and there shouldn't be rioting, and it should not be on a college campus. It should be welcomed. That is what college is for open discord and open dialect and
Expanding your mind and learning and becoming a future leader,
man.
like,
you're going in these little bubbles and everything, and you're coming out dumber than when you went in.
Oh yeah.
You're not if you're not a free thinker, then you're a sheep, in my opinion. That's what separates the sheep from the wolves.
Yep.
I'm trying to not be the sheep. I'm not just going where somebody tells me go. I'm gonna make my own path and my own decision on where I'm gonna go. And that's what college, back in the day, you kind of revered the people that had went to college, because you're like, oh man, they're cultured. They have went and learned some things and seen some different stuff and everything. And now you're starting to realize, no, they were going to places to just live in a tiny little bubble and learn just enough nonsense to
and
go
depending on where they go and what politics are pushed at that school, then you got more of the same problem that we're talking about right now.
Oh, they don't allow no voice of dissent at all.
No.
Their way or the highway.
Like, you remember seeing, like, I don't know if it's still going on, but like big schools, like, you know what I mean, like Harvard, Stanford, places like that, where they shut down the school because they were Palestinian protested for months. It's like,
shut down for any one of them. It should be this school is open because we have everybody coming here, and we don't shut down for none of these kinds of things. This is for learning. This is for higher learning. You are supposed to be the future leaders of your communities. You're supposed to be the future doctors of your communities, the future, and you're coming here and wanting to tell me that you're not open to civil discourse. You're not open to objective thinking. You're not open to someone being at least strong enough in their faith to say, I do stand for something. Because I promise you, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything, and you stand for nothing. And you have to respect those that have a conviction in their heart, that is a true conviction that they're willing to speak on and they're willing to proclaim on. And that goes on both sides for me. If somebody is staunch in their belief in their faith, and I feel like they're coming at it from a reasonable human standpoint, I'm like, hey, I got to respect that. I got to respect that, because they're living what they feel like is their best version of their life. These people that this closed mind, you're not allowed to say anything that everybody doesn't agree with, this bubble think and group think stuff. Man, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm calling out I'm calling out all the nonsense with calling people racist and fast. If you don't know the freaking true definition of the word, you shouldn't be speaking it out your mouth.
Yeah,
And stop
exactly.
calling me names that I don't know what they mean. Stop. Okay?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
You know, like,
I'm
and you know, the thing, one of the things that you said there, and it's interesting because for some reason, like, you know, I had to go get some medical stuff done earlier this week, right? And when I was laying there waiting, one of the things that went through my head was, what if this is one of those kind of people? And I mean, I'm nobody, you know what I mean?
Through
But
your head to do the exam?
what's that?
They went through your head to do it?
Yeah,
So we'll
exactly.
talk about that later. Okay, go ahead.
That's a different discussion. But I was sitting there thinking just about what you were saying. Like, these young people are becoming doctors, and like, maybe they just don't like the way I look, and I'm in there, and you know what I mean? Like, how far away from this kind of crap are we actually? Like, I made a mistake, and it would be sanctioned off of that. Like, I don't know.
Have we all got like I know here in the United States it's about whether you're Republican or Democrat. Well, I haven't checked the bottom of my big toe in a while. I'm gonna make sure it ain't got some kind of print on it that I didn't know.
Right?
I'm just trying to cover my bases at this point. Like,
you can never be too careful.
I got more time behind me than in front of me, so I just want to make sure that I'm kindly ready.
Yeah. You know,
but my that's
like
been
tagging cattle. It's like tagging cattle at this point. It's like, all right, now we know who you are. Off you go.
Yeah. You know, it's just like being a mild mannered person and the kind of person that tries. And I'm truly not a conflict driven kind of person. I do try to find commonalities first before I ever go into any type of discussion about anything that I know is going to be touchy. Then I'll try my best to start with something that, hey man, how are you? Are you all right? How, you know, however that is. But I'm just so over all of this nonsense of because you feel a certain way, the rest of the world's supposed to care. Guys, get over yourselves.
There's enough crap to deal with in life as it is. We don't need anything extra. We really don't. And the sad part is that
how many islands there were in this world, but apparently there's billions because everybody has a me island and they think it is more important than everybody else's. And it's just gotten to a point where, man, you can't even have an open talk with people or even have an open conversation about how you truly feel without feeling like somebody's feelings going to be hurt. Somebody's going to feel like you were a racist, a bigot, a fascist, or whatever, or they're going to call you a name that you don't even know.
And then what I call the sensitivity blowback, which is like I've experienced this countless times because I'll just, particularly if it's in a public spot, you know what I mean? I'm around people that I know and somebody's talking about something. I'll be like, that's just, no, I don't agree with that. And here's why. And then like you'll feel the room shift because now everybody's in this mode of like, okay, I did maybe have a stance on that, but if I say anything about it at this point, well, then I could be grouped as an X. I don't care. Group me in your XYZ. I don't care about that. I never have. And I'm not going to go out of my way again to make somebody else uncomfortable. However, you're not going to do that to me. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen.
Well, and the whole idea behind it is, man, is just because you feel a certain way does not make it the way that the rest of the world sees
That's
it.
why they call them feelings, the random occasions and sparks and neurons in your brain that pass and come and go. You got to get an education, base it on fact. You know what I mean?
You can pay a psychiatrist to care about how you feel. You can call a friend up that maybe truly cares about how you feel. Call your mom and dad. But, you know, you can't take your closed-minded thought, especially when you're not open to civil discourse. If you're not open to having a conversation around something that maybe you're not 100% bought in on, that's the whole idea behind debate, is to try to show you where I'm right, and you try to show me where you're right. Instead, we spend all the time talking about where the other's wrong, but nobody talks about what the hell they're going to do.
And where are the solutions? Where are the solutions? Not just more name calling and false problem causing, because that's what it is. When you get into name calling, it's just let's create a ball of noise so we don't actually get to any kind of solution.
Well, you're putting a defense mechanism up too, right away.
Oh, yeah.
You're making it defensive right away. Like, you just called me a Nazi. So I'm sorry if I have a hard time getting past the fact that we're trying to have a conversation here, or you called me a racist because I just happen to be a white fella. That's just totally not true. And I'm sorry, but it kind of does sometimes put you on defensive. But now I don't feel that defense no more. It's been a couple years now, because I truly feel like you've took away from the meanings of these words over the past 10 years. Nobody even takes in, it's thrown around so much it doesn't even mean what
words are important, and people need to know what they actually mean. I remember
Nazi.
Everyone, you know what's so funny like about this in a weird way was, like, I was telling you earlier about being downtown and being called names. This is not the first time it's happened. And getting called a Nazi, right? So getting called a Nazi. And I was like, so what are your feelings on the Holocaust? And the blank stare, not even understanding the tetherment or the association between those two things. So you're using a word that represents one of the most reprehensible things that's ever happened in human history, yet you don't know the association on the other side of it. So how far have you actually taken this linear thought inside your brain? How far have you taken it? Or is this more just about wanting to be part of something? And how dangerous is that? Blindly wanting to be part of something that you don't even understand the meaning behind the words or the history. Like, what did Churchill say? Those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it. Well, hell, take a look around, folks. Because it seems like that seems to be what's happening right now.
It's turned into a game of appeasement over the last little while of people who just didn't want to have to feel the pressure of conflict. Well, I encourage everybody, peacefully say what's on your mind and speak your mind. And don't worry about when people call you a racist, or just because you're speaking a thought, or just because you claim to think that maybe we should have legal immigration, or maybe we should have that does not make you a racist. That makes you a sane person that's thinking critically, the way that you see it. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means that that's your thought on that, but it does not make you a racist. It does not make you a hardcore religious nut to say, hey, I believe in Jesus Christ. I personally believe in Jesus Christ. I believe he died for my sins, your sins, and I believe that is my savior. Does that mean that I say that in order for me to hang out and be buddies with Sean, that he has to proclaim the same? No. I'm just telling you that that's how I feel. And if you ever want to ask me why I feel that, then I'll be happy to share the joy of Jesus Christ and the good news. But if you don't, then I'm not going to push it on you.
And you touched on a very, very, a very good bring it together point, for lack of a better expression, is that's a big thing that people get divided on God, right? And their gods or their higher powers and stuff like that. And it was something that I did to myself for years because I couldn't put it together. And when I stopped focusing on, okay, well, guys saying it as Jesus Christ, right? And I say it as a higher power. We're using two different phrases or words to describe the exact same thing. Now you have to be able to get there in your head, right? Like you have to be able to get there and go, okay, all right.
This is how I see it. I don't care. I've said it many times, whether you call what you call it by. I know what I know. I know what I feel, but you can call it however you want. But the main thing is that we both, as men and fathers and husbands and brothers and sons and just people of our community, we do understand there's something bigger than us. And that is the key. to the whole thing is
and
that
regardless to how it's described does not mean you are now entitled to hang that other individual from the highest
no,
tree. It,
no.
it don't. That's not how
Well,
it
and
works.
if you look at now, there's radical on all sides, but if you
Of
look at
course.
religion and you just look at the man, and all right, well, I see a lot of Muslim men out here busting their hind ends, breaking their back,
Mhm.
trying to make $1
Mhm.
to feed their family, get their kids through school, and try to have a little something at retirement. Well, you know what? I see a lot of Christian people doing the same exact thing. So to
Yep.
me, it's about the understanding within a man's mind. I can only speak on it from a man's point because, believe it or not, I am not a woman. I
What? Breaking news.
I know that's hard to believe, but I purposely let my beard grow out because I was getting mistaken a couple times. It was
I
like,
just
hey,
thought you weren't doing your nair for your mustache.
I've been working on the base of my voice. I do have the thing on here a little bit farther down too, so that it's anyway. But
Right.
it's
Yeah.
about the understanding that we all, if I know that Shine's coming at it from a point where it's not a narcissist Shine, that it's all about Shine. If I know that Shine is truly coming at it from a dad, a husband, a brother, what if I know he's coming at it from a standpoint where he's putting things other than himself in his life that makes up his world, then that tells me that there is something inner good about that
Mhm.
man or that woman. And I say, okay, well, then no matter what their name for whatever it is that they call, I don't care. All I
No.
care about is that I see a human being that knows there's something greater than themselves. And I'm sorry, I'll argue the point till I die. Once you become a parent, once you give yourself that blessing and you realize the blessing that is, then you can't help but know that there's something bigger than you.
Oh yeah.
There's
Yeah.
got to be something bigger than me, Lord, because I want something better for my baby. There's
Mhm.
got to be.
Mhm.
And I don't at that general realm, it makes never mind to me what the man or woman's name for that bigger thing is. It's about knowing there's something bigger than you. That's
That's
it.
right. That's
That's
right.
all. I
Yep.
think it all leads us to the right spot in the end is what I'm getting at.
I agree, man. I agree. I absolutely agree with all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Well said, man. Very well
And
said.
Any good job this afternoon. We appreciate you guys
Yeah.
being here.
Appreciate
CFM's
it.
Queen. We see you there. Thank you for being a part of everything. We love the
Yep.
comments and just a good. We
Yeah.
like that rhetorical. We like that. It gives us
Absolutely.
a good something to talk on, and it's an important subject, guys. I mean, me and Sean, we're not just coming at this as like trying to hit the topic of the days and everything. We know that that's important with some things, and you try to do that, but this is really a topic where I feel like it's hit home. For me, the chickens have come
Oh,
home.
it's
I will no
definitely hit home.
longer.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody pulling no punches, or ain't nobody pulling
Mm-mm.
their slang about what they want to say. So I'm just going to make sure that I speak the way I see it. And
Yep.
I've always felt we can talk about anything as long, and I'll openly debate anybody that wants to come on. I'll openly debate them. But the first rule is we're not allowed to call each other names. And I believe that shuts down about 90% of them that might would want to come on.
Well,
Because ain't
but
calling names.
that's all the more reason why we got to keep on pushing because to go back to the fellow that we're referring to, Charlie Kirk, I believe that's exactly what he was doing was
It was.
pushing minds to say, hey, like I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm telling you that you need to think about the thoughts inside your head and you need to see like what is what in this situation for you, not because
Yeah.
you're trying to appease some group or some
Yeah.
narrative. Like
And
what
there's
do
other
you
voices
want?
besides the little bubble you live in. There's other voices out there.
Right.
There's other things. That's why that I say all the time, dude, I do not just take something I hear off of any of the news. I don't care which one it is. I do not take that one thing as that's the way it is. There's no, because it's been proven wrong too many times.
Yep.
I like to give it time to make sure that I've looked and seen if it's on it, how this one's talking about it. I'll look to see how that one's talking about it. And then I try to put things together the best that we can as a society and say, well, now this is how I see this. This is how I'm looking at this. And
Yep.
because you'll get yourself you'll get yourself all frenzied up over something that ain't even true, or it's a half truth. This is a whole lie.
That right there is a perfect segue into one of the most helpful things I've ever learned in my life personally, which is if I feel a flare up, like if I feel, oh, something's been challenged inside of me, I take that second or 10, right, to breathe and think about, well, what just happened there, right? What just fired me off, and how much of this do I know is fact? How much is not fact? Let's dig a bit here, rather than being the guy 20 years ago who would have just popped off about it. And that's kind of what I feel like I'm seeing with these young kids now. They're just popping off about stuff, but there is no backing behind what they're popping off about.
They're popping off due to lack of education. That's a frustration due to their own lack of education. That's how I see it. You resort to single, you resort to singular thought when you run out of more free thought. You resort to, okay, well, I know the F word, so I'll just say the F word, or I know that,
and I'm gonna stop breathing and cut off oxygen to my brain and just keep yelling it as many times as I can before I black out. Like, you know what I mean? No, don't do that. If you're real, I know, like, kind of sounds like I'm joking about it, but for anybody listening, like, that's just take a second to feel and think what you actually think and put it together. You know what I mean? Put it together. Stop just following the herd.
Stop being so reactionary and in your feelings all the time.
Come
and
on.
it is so awesome to see comedy coming back, guys. It's coming back. That's why I know that there's hope for the world, because we're starting to cut people down again on both sides. We're starting to talk smack about everybody again, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Get out your feelings. Get out of your
Get over yourself, sweetie. Yeah. This is the real world.
If you do something funny and I can figure out a way to make a joke out of it, well, guess what? I'm gonna make
Of course. And like again, like that comes to, like, you know what I mean? Like, desensitization, I guess it goes both ways, because like you can sit there and be like, I'm desensitized to everything and I just don't care. Or you can desensitize yourself to the fact that, hey, that actually is kind of funny. I'm going to allow myself to experience it, because what's the alternative? Shouting and screaming with a bunch of maniacs?
It's easier just to accept your little character flaws and find. For me, I've always been made fun of because of the way I move and the way and the kind of, the actions I had, the things that I do. I realize I look a little silly, but I embrace it because it's fun. I don't care. We'll laugh about it together. I can't help it.
Hey, we're here for a good time. We're here for a good time, not a long time, man. You might as well have some laugh along the way.
So it's like you're not going to. And if you make fun of yourself, then you're kind of taking the bullets from everybody else. Now we can laugh together at it. You're like, okay. I don't take myself seriously. Like, whatever. Like, I know I'm beautiful. I know that.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Find another reason, for God's sakes, man. I mean, I wake up like this. So to hate me,
the hours of work to go into the presentation.
Yeah,
right?
That's why I let my beard and stuff grow out over the weekend, because there was a couple of people like, yes, ma'am, thank you. And I'm like, hey, yo. I shaved this past.
Hold on now.
You know what I mean? I'm like, don't let the wig fool you. Okay.
Or the dress. Yes, I will donate $1 to charity.
It's a 10-10. Well, a 2-2, really, but
yeah,
it was referred to as a 10-10 one time.
Well, 10-10 was a great character.
Once they said it, I seen what they were saying. I was like, I mean, I kind of bought in on it. I don't know if everybody else did, but I did. I was like,
the people
I went in on this,
Yeah,
I felt good in it. It felt right. Went with it.
Yeah.
Haven't caught no charges or anything yet. I haven't caught like that.
Don't be too hard on yourself. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Pete. I see that she's saying I'm harder on myself than anyone could ever be. I get that, and I know Guy gets that too.
Yeah,
and we all do it in different ways. But I think that's what also, is keeping what
I
parts of
have tried to
society
make it
together.
a practice in the past few
Yeah.
years of my life to give myself the grace of saying good job. When I know I
Yeah.
tried hard at
Mhm.
something, even if it's
Yep.
not as good as somebody else would have done. Like for me, it took me a whole year to learn how to use my computer, to learn how to do some of these things that maybe for other folks, maybe they would have learned it in a few months. For me, it took that much time for me to let it process in my brain and feel that comfortable. Like, okay, now I'm comfortable with a lot of things on there.
Yep.
Hey, and just give yourself that grace. And I'm
Yep.
trying to find grace from in that way for myself. Like, hey, man, I deserve to say good job once in a while to myself. Like, you tried hard, you earned it, you did a good job, and
Yep.
and it's okay. But for years, I was always that guy that not like songs you'd write. That's a song. It sucked.
Oh, like I
Or
said, my own worst critic. You know what I mean?
well,
And no, you know, don't worry about it. Like, I mean, there's enough things against you as it is. If you got something that you want to do and you ain't harming nobody, like we were talking about earlier, go ahead and do it. You know what I mean?
why
Experience it,
not?
see what happens.
Why
Why
not?
not?
Why not? Look at
Why not?
me. I mean, you know, ask my wife about what it's like to just be like, why not? And look at
And
what
with
a chunk of gold she landed on. You know, I was just trying to put it into terms where people could get. I was trying to round the corner, John. That's what I was doing. That's what that's called in professional broadcasting stuff.
in the
Call
corner.
that you round. Yeah, I was rounding. Yeah, I rounded
I
them.
like the
rounded
golden
corners.
sheep term.
Yeah.
I've
Don't
not
you
heard
feel
that.
better about don't you have a better understanding now about everything? Like,
I really do. It just all kind of clicked. Well,
yeah, just I was trying to anyway. Shout out to everybody. We appreciate you.
thanks
CFM
everybody.
Queen, shout
Yeah.
out to you. We appreciate you coming by. Thank you all so much for getting for spending your morning and some of your afternoon with us. We'll be back Friday,
Mhm.
11 to 1 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be touching on some type of topic to be discovered by that point. But
Yep.
guys, say a prayer. Say a prayer for
Yep.
everybody
Yes,
and good
please.
thoughts for everybody. And shout out to What the Quack, our friend. We're thinking of you. I just crossed my mind. So shout out to What the Quack.
Good job. Yeah.
But keep some good thoughts in for the Kirk family and for everybody, man. Why not?
Society in
throw a
general.
blanket.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
want a blanket statement, something, just blanket statement of prayer and put it out there. You know what I mean? Throw it up into the
Yep.
wind. But guys, thank y'all so very much. We appreciate you. CFM's all. Thank you. My pleasure. Always. We appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Yep. Thank you, guys. We'll see y'all Friday, guys.
Got a fire in my soul, yeah, it's burning bright. Guy band, he told me just to follow the light. Well, I heard the people singing with all their might. So I hit the ground running, and I ran all night. And we sang, run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Well, I ran into my family, and I ran into my friends, and I ran into people that I didn't know then. And I said to them, hey, I could use a hand. And then I ran and I ran and I ran and I ran. And we sang, run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. They say it's dangerous out there, but not if we're all here. If we're together, we can run without fear. They say it's dangerous out there, but not if we're all here. If we're together, we Well, the children and the elders and the strangers and the neighbors and the doctors and the teachers and the farmers and the bakers and the scientists and builders and the singers and the players and the buskers and the dancers and the dreamers and the painters and the coaches and the helpers and the artists and creators and the yogis and the healers and the preachers and the changers and the people and the planet and the forests and the rivers and the mountains and the oceans and the future and the vision. And the buskers and the patience and the future and the vision. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run. Run, 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 run.